Republicans do nothing. Republicans have been in charge for I don't know how long of managing the decline. I mean, look, it's not exactly a new insult to call the Republican Party controlled opposition, but let's be frank, that's exactly what they are. Even Joseph Stalin allowed an opposition party. A lot of people don't realize this. He allowed, encouraged, and in fact funded an opposition party to give the people of the Soviet Union an illusion of choice. Oh, no, these guys are against me. Wow, it's pretty scary, but somehow they never end up accomplishing any of their anti-Stalin goals. We're constantly told the Republican Party is going to fight for us and protect the border, and we'll cut your taxes, and we'll be pro-life, and we'll protect the family. Yet none of these things ever seem to materialize. They all talk about it during election season. I'll build the wall. And then you get there and you get 25 feet of wall and a bunch of excuses. Greg Abbott, look, that's his excuse. He's a Republican. That's what they all are. That's why I'm an anti-communist.
Apparently that clip fired up the senator. One of the good ones. We don't have very many good ones, sadly, but we do have one out of Alabama, football coach. Everyone knows him as coach, not senator. I think that's the coolest thing in the world, Senator Tommy Tuberville. Coach, I don't know why that clip got you all fired up. What did I do? Are you mad at me?
Well, unfortunately, you told a lot of truth, Jesse. There's a lot of truth in the entire. I watched the entire clip, and we're in bad trouble. And I tell people that when I go out and speak in Alabama. People ask me, Coach, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Where are we at? And I pretty much tell them, hey, our country's in bad trouble. We've probably already lost our country as we grew up in it. Now, the only chance we can get it back is to get people up here that's going to listen to their constituents. And as you just said, a lot of people come up here, Jesse, and the Democrats, for instance, they're in a group mode. They vote as a group. They figure something out, and that's the way they go, and they're going to stick with it, hell or high water. Republicans, we're kind of individual contractors. I represent Alabama. I don't represent me. I come up here and I vote for the state of Alabama because we're pro-life, we're pro-military, we're against big government, we're for God. All those things go along, and anything with that, I'm going to vote that way. I'm not going to hem-haw around and let some other Republican come to me and say, Coach, we need you to vote this way or that way, or any lobbyist. And, my dad was in the military. He died on active duty. I believe in this country, but I'll tell you, we are not a team in the Republican side. We try to be, but there's too many individual contractors. And again, I vote different than a lot of them sometimes, and they probably think the same thing about me. But again, the thing about it is they don't do that on the Democratic side. They stick together and they're going to vote, for their persuasion, not their state. They're going to vote how Chuck Schumer wants them to vote, and that's how we've ended up in this mess.
Coach, why is it that way on the right to such an extent? And this is what I mean. I don't expect or even want you to be identical to Mike Lee or Ted Cruz or something like that. I like that we have individuals up there who are different and have different perspective on things. But some of these guys who are up there, and I'm happy to name names, as you know, but I don't need to, some of these guys actually seem to hate me as a GOP primary voter, as part of the GOP base, the things I care about. They talk down to us now quite openly all the time that we're stupid and we're idiots and we don't understand. It feels like they hate us.
Well, I think a lot of times, and again, I'm not going to put words in other senators' mouths, but the thing about it is you're around so much up here that sometimes you get into a situation where you think you know better than everybody else, other than say, it doesn't make any difference how I think here as Coach Tommy Tuberville. I vote for the people of Alabama. I'm not going to vote to spend money up here that we don't have. I'm just not going to do it. And they don't want me to do that. And again, I'll fight back against, the abortion policies that the Biden administration has thrown at us, the military and the VA. I'll fight back against anything that I think the Alabama people from Alabama want me to fight back against. And I don't care. I'm not running to get reelected. Okay. I could care less about staying up here, 15, 20, 30 years. I've had my career. I'm up here to help Alabama and help the citizens of this country. And I'm going to vote that way.
Is that why you're more impervious to it and maybe why some of the others are not? And I really genuinely mean that. Everyone knew who Tommy Tuberville was long before you became a United States Senator. You've had this incredible life and this great career and everything. You don't need to be a freaking senator. You can walk away tomorrow and be just fine. You're still going to be Coach Tommy Tuberville. So the others who don't necessarily have that life experience, and not many do, is that what hurts them? All they have is, I'm Senator this, I'm Congressman that, and if they lose that, they're nothing? Is that what happens to our guys up there?
Well, I think it happens to groups on both sides, not just our side. I think people come up here and they see this as something that they can use as what you said, as a symbol of a power of, I made it to this point. There's only 100 U.S. senators. I don't look at it that way. I think you got to come in with that mindset. Again, I didn't invent the wheel here. I just come up here and I've seen what's going on. And I have not voted for one dime to go to Ukraine. I do not believe, and again, there's nobody that's got any more information than me because I'm on armed services. I've been in all the classified hearings. I've asked questions to all the generals. People have been there. I've had people here, hostages from Ukraine and people that's been fighting there. I've talked to all of them. And I see where Mike Johnson's changed his mind. Said, I've seen things now that changed my mind. We need to give money to Ukraine. Yes, they can't win. I don't know how to put it any more plain. They cannot win over Russia. We need to go over there and get this madness over with and save the lives of people from Ukraine and Russia and draw a line, a new boundary. They keep saying that Vladimir Putin's going to run through Europe. He doesn't want Europe. What the hell would he want that for? I mean, they have no minerals, they have no gas or oil, they don't have anything. And sure, he could probably go through there because they have boutique armies now. They don't spend any money on defense. But at the end of the day, this guy does not want people on his borders, with weapons like us in Ukraine. NATO wants Ukraine to be on their team. I don't believe they need to be on their team. We wouldn't want China and Mexico. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. They can't win.
Well, speaking of borders, this Mayorkas situation is not surprising to anyone who understands how these dirty communists operate. I knew Chuck Schumer wasn't going to have a trial. That's something Republicans would do to themselves. Democrats would never do such a thing. So we're just stuck with an open border now, aren't we, Senator? I know you don't want that. I know that's not what I want, but that's really what we're stuck with now, right?
Most devastating thing that's happened, Jesse, in my lifetime. And it's over. What you said, they're here. They're not going home. We might be able to send a few of them home, but they've let their prisons out down in Venezuela. They've done everything they possibly can do to ruin our country. I just don't understand. I've asked some of my Democratic colleagues, what is it that you don't understand about our country is getting overrun by people that don't know anything about our country? They can't help our country whatsoever, and it's going to cost us a fortune, and it's going to cause crime to go out the roof. What is it you don't understand? We need to help other people. Wait a minute. We're all for immigration. We can bring 1 million people in a year. We can bring in people that speak our language, are educated, that can help us become a better country. But that's not what they want. They want voters. At the end of the day, that's what this is all about. You know that. But I'll tell you, it is going to be devastating to this next few generations coming up. And heaven help us if we don't get something done at the border. That's the reason I'm really disgusted with the Republican Party. We have had an opportunity to say, listen, we're going to take our football and go home. And we're not going to pass anything for the rest of this term. I don't care who it's for, whether it's a new budget, we're going to go home until you close that damn border because it is killing the American people. And, but we won't do it. I mean, we've had every opportunity to say, listen, game, set, match. Y'all can play politics all you want. If you don't close the border, we're done. But nobody would do that up here.
So frustrating. Senator, I wanted to make sure I ask you before I let you go about the DOD, the vaccine mandate. It's just madness to me that our troops are still going through all this crap. What did you learn about all this?
Well, being on the Armed Services Committee, I've had all the stats, and we're starting to get them more and more in. Today, we had the Secretary of the Army here and the Chief of Staff of the Army, and I had already had the stats, and I kind of read them out to them. They ran out 1,800 people in the Army, just soldiers. And then we lost 200 great mechanics on airplanes and all the big equipment that we have. We run them off, 200, and we can't replace them. There's nobody to replace them with. And that's just the Army. That's not the Air Force and Marines. Because we were talking about recruiting, and that's what I've done all my life is recruit. We have nothing to sell these young men and women coming out of high school and college about a great and strong military. All we have to sell them is, hey, you join our military and you can be part of a great diversity, equity, and inclusion program. And, we'll go happily down the road. I mean, we need a killing machine. We are on the verge of 3 wars. Somebody needs to wake up and smell the roses. I've talked to active duty military all over the world since I've been in this job. I've talked to all over the country at our military bases. I've talked to military personnel that have recently got out. And a lot of people, Jesse, are getting out because they can't put up with all this madness that they're being taught in the military. They can't handle it. One Marine told me, he said, Coach, I fought in 2 wars. I love this country. I've got 2 boys that are getting close to military age. Not one of them will ever fight in this military. I will move to another country if we start a war because we can't win with the leadership that we have in the military that we have now. We have gone the other direction, and I think it's all by design. It's look at Joe Biden right now, show of weakness in the Middle East, a show of weakness everywhere all over the world, and what better than just say, hey, listen, we're just going to destroy our military and we won't be able to fight no matter whether people want us to fight or not. I mean, it's madness all over this administration and the things that we're doing in terms of protecting the American people and the best country that's ever been on the face of this earth.
It is heartbreaking, Coach. That's my sons. Look, my sons are 13 and 15. They've put on Dad's Marine uniform before. It's sitting in my closet, and I've told them, no. The answer is no, not under this kind of leadership, and that friggin' breaks my heart. Coach, hopefully I break bread with you one of these days. We got to go get a steak one of these nights. I appreciate you very much.